we're actually now joined on the show with someone who has played the game and has all the knowledge on the game itself, and I can't wait to chat to him about it. We've got Shrey on the show. How are you?
Hey Louise, I'm doing great.
Good.
Just embracing the Resident Evil hype. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I'm so jealous that you've already given it a playthrough because I can't wait to get my hands on it next Friday. I'll tell you that now. But I mean, like, so it's almost here. So people have been playing the demo, of course, but of course you've had a nice little go of the full game. But it's been circulating. So what was your first impression when you were playing it? How did you feel compared to the original? Was it quite like a good surprise for you?
Well, I loved it. So I was a bit skeptical going into this game because the original is one of my favorite games of all time, and I was like, will it live up to the hype? Will it like capture the essence of the original?
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually does in a lot of ways, and it's really good. You're gonna like this one.
Oh, I can't wait. Literally, 'cause I played the demo and I got to Chainsaw Man, and I was like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? It's chaos. That village bit at the start is great, isn't it? But I mean, are there quite strong comparisons?
They're,
Yeah. Did you did you find it
sorry.
quite like difficult? Was it like hard all the way through? Did it get quite challenging like compared to the original?
Well, it is a difficult game. I played it at the highest difficulty, and well,
Wow.
uh, I guess some of the bosses are really challenging, and the original was a challenging game as well. So I don't think I could like actually put it like compare it to the whether the original was more difficult or this one is more difficult. I think both are pretty challenging games on their own right.
Did you think like playing it on sort of like that hard mode is the way to kind of like really experience the game? Because I feel like that's going to give me anxiety because I find it's an hard game, like you said, anyway.
Yeah, so I think the best way to play this game is on highest difficulty, which is why I always play Resident Evil games on like the highest difficulty that's provided. So, and this one, yeah, really hits the notes when you're playing at like the most highest difficulty. Yeah.
And do you find like the game mechanics are there as well? Obviously, because like it's quite iconic with Resident Evil 4. You had the drop kicks and the kind of like the sneak attacks and things like that. Was that relevant in this game as well? Does that happen throughout?
Sorry, Liz, could you repeat? I didn't actually hear.
Yeah, so the game mechanics, so in terms of gameplay and things like that, because obviously there's quite a few features in the game that are quite iconic with the kind of like the kicking and stuff like that. Is that all kind of happening in Resident Evil 4 Remake as well?
Oh yeah, Leon can perform suplex and a lot of funny moves in this game, and that's just like just the melee part because there's a lot of new mechanics that they have added, especially the knife that lets you parry enemy moves. That's actually really fun. I thought it could break the game because I thought it would probably rob the vulnerability factor of the game, but it actually works really well. And yeah, I don't want to spoil a lot of things because there's a ton of changes they have made to the game, which I think a lot of people are gonna like.
Ooh. So, and of course, without kind of spoiling the plot, I mean, a lot of people have already played this game, but some people haven't. Is there anything, though, within the game that does steer away from the story from the original, or is it very much quite spot on to the story that we all know?
So the main plot is pretty much the same. There are some rearrangements that they have made, which I absolutely cannot talk about right now.
Yeah.
But there's just slight changes here and there, which kind of makes more sense now. Uh, and I really like the changes that they make. But obviously, this is gonna be really a subjective matter because I feel like maybe some people are not gonna like what they've changed, and it could go either way. But overall, there's not like anything major changes. There's just slight tweaks here and there that I think it's pretty well done for the most part.
That's interesting. That's intrigued me. I'm looking forward to seeing what's in there. That's cool. I mean, there was graphically as well. There was a little bit of controversy with the rain element of the game, and like the clips that we'd seen in the gameplay. A lot of people were getting a bit upset. Is it bad? Is the rain okay? Is it playable?
It's really bad.
Oh no!
Well, they did, yeah. So they did say that they're gonna deploy a day one patch to fix that, but it wasn't fixed in the version that I played, so I can't say about that. But it's really bad right now. I was really glad when I got over that section of the game.
Because yeah, it looks like you can't really see much in that. The rain is quite bad, so
Yeah.
hopefully. Yeah, I hope they fix that by
Yeah, it's
next
really
week.
bad.
Yeah, for sure. They should hopefully fix that. I mean, they've got a week to kind of hopefully patch that out. But that's so. I mean, in terms of remakes, though, of course, there's been survival horror remakes coming out, and the likes of Dead Space has come out recently. Do you think that Resident Evil remake is gonna sit in that realm quite nicely, competing against the likes of Dead Space? Because it had great reviews as well.
Uh, Definitely. So they have modernized a lot of aspects of the game that actually uh, people who are gonna play it for the first time are really gonna enjoy what's here. And when compared to Dead Space, it's kind of a different game than Dead Space. Dead Space was more of a survival horror game, and this is more of an action horror game.
Yeah.
So it will definitely find its audience here, and they have made all the necessary changes to make it feel, more modern for people who are gonna drop in for the first time.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot scarier. I feel like they're going to get that because I mean, it feels very Res Evil 8 with when kind of looking at the gameplay, especially they made it even look even more like Res Evil 8, which I quite like. The atmosphere seems to be there, which is good. So I like the beginning bit. Is it even more creepy when you're going through the houses and things like that? Is it still got that villagers extra creepy vibe?
It does. There's few sections in the game that's actually more scarier than the original,
Ah.
and yeah, and I was surprised they actually went with this direction. It's really good.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm literally so excited. So, I mean, obviously, Resident Evil 9 is probably on the cards at some point. Do you think that, in your opinion, I mean, obviously nobody knows, but do you think, in your opinion, they're probably going to focus on Resident Evil 9 before they look at another remake? Because they've still got 5 and 6 they can remake. I mean, Code Veronica has also been, rumours they're going to remake that. Do you think that they'll go for Resident Evil 9 before they do a remake?
So before I played this remake, Resident Evil 4, I was pretty much convinced that they're not gonna make another remake after this because I4 is like the highest point of Resident Evil, and then it sort of went downhill for the franchise with 5 and 6. So
Yeah.
it didn't make sense for them to make like remake those games. But I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a few instances that I noticed in the game that actually kind of convinced me that they're probably thinking of an RE5 remake.
Mm.
And when I think about it, how structured the releases in the last few years, we have had a Resident Evil game every year since 2019. We had RE2 remake in 2019, we had RE3 remake in 2020, and then we had RE Village in 21, and now RE4. So it kind of makes sense now after I have seen in the game and like the total structure as well. It makes sense that they're probably gonna go with RE5 next year. If
Ooh.
I don't know, I'm just speculating here. Maybe RE5 next year. It kind of makes sense after you've played the game. It kind of makes sense. So and the team that make Village, the team that made Village and RE7, they're different teams than the ones that have been working on the remakes. So they take at least 4 to 5 years to make a game. So I feel like RE9 is gonna be 2025
Yeah.
and not 2024. So maybe we're gonna get RE5 remake next year. I don't know. It makes sense.
That would make sense. That'd be very cool. Well, Shrey, that's a very good observation. So, and I'm looking forward to playing it next week because I want to see what you've seen in there that inklings a little bit of a Resident Evil 5. So that's very exciting. Well, Shrey, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you, and you're making it. I'm sure everyone's very excited to play the game now, and we're all very jealous of you that you've had a go. So I'm glad that you've enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. I hope you have a good time playing as much as I did
I
next week.
will do. Thank you so much.